Be confident, be bold, be authentic, but don't forget to take action. This is Ordinary to Badass, where our stories empower women to step into the spotlight of their own lives and pursue what they're truly passionate about. It's time to step into the arena and become more than just extraordinary. It's time to become a badass with your host, Marie Sonneman.
Welcome to Ordinary to Badass, episode number 13. Today, I talked to Amanda LeCount. Amanda is 18 years old. She's a dancer, choreographer, singer, model, and actress. Amanda is all about breaking the stereotype. She has been on The Ellen Show, Marie TV, and danced with Rihanna, Lizzo, Meghan Trainor, and Katy Perry. Amanda's so awesome and inspiring. I just know you're going to love this episode. Stay tuned. Welcome to Ordinary to Badass. Whether you're ordinary or you're badass, I'm glad you're here. Today's guest is Amanda LeCount. Amanda, thanks so much for being here. I love the energy. So first off, I've got to ask you, do you consider yourself ordinary or badass?
100% badass, for sure.
I love it. I love how you just own it. So will you share with us a little bit about you?
Yeah, so I'm a professional hip hop dancer that lives in Los Angeles. I'm 18 years old, and I have kind of my own hashtag/movement called #Breaking the Stereotype. And it's all about trying to hopefully inspire people from all over the world to do what they're passionate about, no matter what stereotypes you might not fit into, and just doing what you love no matter what people say.
I love that. How did the breaking the stereotype or #breaking the stereotype, how did that come about?
Yeah, so I created #breaking the stereotype about 2.5 years ago. And it was kind of random the way I came up with it. I was just in my car going to dance, I think, and I saw some of my friends had their own hashtag, and I just kind of wanted something of my own that was just mine that, I don't know, just kind of summarized what I'm all about. And I came up with breaking the stereotype because, my whole life people tell me, I don't have the right body to be a dancer. I'm too fat to be a dancer. I'll never make it in the industry because I don't have the right body type. And I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but breaking the stereotype is kind of like I said before, showing people that you don't have to fit in to the stereotypes that society pressures you to fit into. I know it's hard to do what you love when people don't necessarily approve of it, but it'll pay off in the end, I promise. At least it has for me, and I think if everyone would do that, just the world would be a better place, and I think people would be happier because they'd be doing what they love instead of doing what other people tell them they should be doing, if that makes sense. That was kind of a lot.
No, that's good. That's good. So you're only 18 years old and you already have this crazy awesome mindset. Where do you think that came from?
I definitely think part of it came from my mom. She is so smart and has so much knowledge. I mean, she has 9 degrees and she's obsessed with school, and she's my manager pretty much, and she just completely dives into whatever she's passionate about. And for me and my dancing, she immediately she wanted to know everything there was to know about it and wanted to find out, what agencies are the best and what auditions I should be going to and whose classes will help me the most. And she just completely indulged herself into this dance lifestyle. But I definitely think I got some of my knowledge as far as trying to inspire people and just having a pretty mature mindset for my age from her. She had to go through a lot of tough things when she was little and just growing up that not everybody has to go through or does go through. And I think that made her a stronger and wiser person. And I think that definitely kind of rubbed off on me.
Cool. And what age did you start dancing?
I started when I was 2. So pretty much my whole life I've been dancing.
Love it. Love it. So let's talk a little bit about your wins. Can you share with us what you're most proud of accomplishing?
There's a few things because there's some personal ones that might not be like the biggest job, but just for me, they were really exciting. But I would say I probably have 2. And one is the Rihanna Savage Fenty show that I just did like less than a month ago,
That's so cool.
which was super exciting. I mean, my goal for this year was just to do something with Rihanna, and to do that is kind of crazy to like check that off my list of as my one goal of the year, and to be able to say that I did that was really exciting.
Yeah.
The whole experience was just amazing, and I mean, it's you can imagine how awesome it was.
Yeah. Mind-blowing.
So, yeah, definitely mind-blowing. That was probably my favorite job I've ever done, but also something that was really cool for me is when I was the cover of Dance Spirit magazine last year, just because I always looked at that magazine growing up, and I looked up to those dancers who were on the cover so much, and I just loved them. And to be on the cover when, I'm 18 years old, and kind of just, it's kind of like a full circle. And especially just because I think they've only had like a size 8 or 10 on the cover. So for someone like me to be on the cover was a really big deal. And just personally, it was a really cool experience that I never thought I would get to do or be on the cover.
That's so cool. What is something most people don't know about what it took to accomplish those moments?
Ooh, it took a lot of, this is pretty obvious, or it's probably something that people say all the time, but for me, it definitely took a lot of strength, because I had to go through all these people telling me no, 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 no. And that's definitely part of the dance industry and just the entertainment industry, is you get told no 3 billion times before you get any yeses.
Right.
And so I definitely had to have a strong mind to, just throw all those no's out the window, to just remember that there will be a time when I get a yes and when my career, starts. And so I think just not letting myself quit or stop or like second guess myself, even though all these people around me are telling me I should, to get past all that and to get to those moments of doing these shows and these jobs was probably the hardest part.
So did you struggle with it in the beginning when you first started getting told no? Did you struggle with that at all?
Well, since I started when I was 2, obviously, I didn't have body issues when I was 2. But as I got to the age around, 7 or 8, I just kind of started realizing that people were looking at me a little differently, or I'd hear people whispering, and I could just kind of know it was about me. And I just kind of knew that people felt a certain way about me, and I wasn't really sure why. I figured it out, obviously, maybe when I was around 9. But it was weird because I never, thought of my body as an issue or thought I was different. Everyone looks different. No one looks the same. So I was like, this is what I look like. Great. But then I started realizing that it's an issue for people, and that I'm not supposed to dance. And that's kind of when it started getting a little more doubting myself and second guessing myself. Because when I started, I was just so confident, so confident. And as I got older, starting to go into high school, and, all these people care so much about what you look like. And, you care so much about what other people think of you because you want to be cool or popular or whatever, all these different things. And that's when it started getting a little bit I kind of feel bad. Maybe I should look a different way, or I wish I looked a different way. My life would be easier and things like that. But then, I kind of just got through it. I don't think there's anything really that I did. I just was so passionate about dance that I couldn't even imagine stopping. That wasn't even an option for me.
Yeah.
And now, 7 years later, I realized that I'm so thankful in a way that I look the way I do, because if I didn't look this way and I looked like every other dancer that dances in LA, I wouldn't have the platform I do to inspire the people I do and to motivate the people that I do. So I'm really grateful that I was given that opportunity.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you put your passion first. You let that kind of guide you rather than
Mhm,
seeing all the roadblocks ahead of you.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about your struggles. Can you tell us about a time when you gave up, but now you wish you wouldn't have?
Um, I don't think I've ever completely given up. Yes, I've had really, down days or just bad, feeling insecure or feeling not the best, but I don't think I've ever completely given up. There's been some times, I got kicked out of my dance studio when I was 11 years old for, not having the right body type for my studio director. And he just couldn't imagine having someone my size on the team, which at that point, that was probably one of my lowest points just because I was 11 years old and having my mentor say that to me and someone that I looked up to so much kind of just beat me down like that. It did definitely, take a lot of my confidence away and my self-esteem was like to the floor. But even then, obviously with the help of my mom too, and her just being so supportive, I still didn't stop. And I don't think I really even considered stopping. It was just a matter of like forgetting him and not letting that opinion affect me and just knowing that there's 7 billion other people in the world that can feel a completely different way. So don't let, this one person's opinion kind of control your whole life.
Right.
But that was probably one of my lowest moments, which is pretty understandable. I mean, having someone
Yes.
do that to me,
Just
especially at 11,
crazy.
let alone any age, is pretty crazy.
So did he tell you that to your face or did he tell your mom or how did that work?
Yeah, he called my mom and I, so we were together, and he said we were having a meeting. And I'm not sure what my mom thought, but I thought it was going to be kind of like a check-in, this is what you need to do next year, and this is what you need to work on, things like that. And then pretty much just said, hey, I'm sorry, but Amanda's body type doesn't fit my vision I have for my team. And we were both just like, what the heck? And yeah, we walked out, never looked back, and I'm sure he sees what I'm doing. And I know for a fact he saw my Dance Spirit magazine cover, so I can just imagine his face when he opened it and saw my amazing face on the cover.
It's so cool. It's like you use that to push you, not to
Oh,
stop
definitely.
you.
Yeah, it's the best. Like sometimes, not every job, but sometimes when I do really cool things, I'm like, I wonder what this guy would think about it. Probably good.
Tag him on Instagram.
Try not to be that
I
petty.
know, I know.
It's hard not to, because sometimes
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. So what would you say to the 11-year-old girl out there who's going through the same thing?
Yeah.
Like,
Um, like I said before, I would just say that you don't forget to like remember that that's one person. And I know it's easy to kind of put so much value on that person's opinion, especially if in my case it's someone that you look up to, and to have them kind of tear you down like that, it's really easy to take that and just go with it. But just remember that literally there's billions of people in the world who could love you and who might look up to you someday. Because I know that's what happened to me. So just do what you're passionate about. Because if you don't, you'll end up looking back 40 years from now and wishing you would have kept dancing or singing or cooking or whatever you want to do.
right, right. But I think that's also a lesson for parents because parents can control or help shape their kids' outlook too. Like if they're
Yeah,
okay with their kid paving their own way, that makes it so much more helpful.
definitely. And especially for my mom, I know a few people who, their kids get bullied in dance or whatever, and so they take them out, which is very understandable. I get that. It's just like your parental instinct, like you want to protect your kid and you don't want them getting hurt, which I'm not saying it's bad parenting or anything like that.
Right,
I'm
right.
not a parent. I don't know. But I definitely think it helped that my mom was just so supportive and did not doubt me for a second. She really trusted me and believed me when I said, this is what I'm passionate about. I'm going to work really hard and it's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Even though sometimes it was hard getting, some people saying these negative things about me and telling my mom that she should pull me out and things like that. She never let it get to her because she knew how much I loved it.
I love
So I
that.
think if more parents could do that, I think just more people would be doing what they love. But I don't want
Yeah.
to make it like bad parenting. I get why they do it.
No,
It's
totally.
a hard decision to make.
But there's also another school out there who might be a better fit.
Mhm.
If you're going somewhere and it's not right, like your coach that kicked you out at 11, you wouldn't want to go there if you could, knowing he had that attitude, you know?
Yeah.
But there's
Exactly.
always another place out there.
The next studio, yep.
Yep. So can you share with us a story about one of the hardships you have faced to get to where you are now?
I would just say, I mean, this isn't like a hardship or anything crazy, but just sometimes I just feel like, you know, I go to these auditions and people look at me weird, or I'm the only person that, you know, is even close to plus size at this audition, or it's me and one other person. And sometimes it's just hard because even though I am very confident, you know, just those thoughts get in your head of, you know, oh gosh, I look different, like everyone's looking at me, oh my gosh, and just kind of losing your confidence slowly. But I honestly don't think I've had people like tell me I'm not good enough, or I'm, like I said, I'm too big, or I'm not skinny enough, or all these different things. But I don't think I've ever gone through anything that is bad enough to ever make me think about quitting dancing. So, I mean, I guess the closest thing I have to like a hardship, I guess, is that studio director kicking me out, which was pretty hard at 11, but yeah.
So what do you say to yourself in moments where you get down or talk bad about yourself?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's a little bit of a different situation just because I do have some people that look up to me and, you know, are inspired by me, and not that they pressure me in any way or I feel like I have to dance because it's what I love to do. I wouldn't just keep doing it for other people.
Right.
But it does help, you know, when I'm feeling like down or whatever, to know that there's like 200,000 people who look up to me and love what I do and are inspired by what I stand for and what I do. And it just kind of helps to get me out of that negative mindset and just to remember that, you know, these people support me so much, and some of them really rely on, you know, my dancing and me representing for them when they don't really have a voice. And so, you know, it's not just about me anymore. You know, I'm dancing and standing up for hundreds of thousands of people all over the world that don't have that opportunity. So it just helps knowing that, you know, there's a lot of people behind me that support me.
Yeah, I like that perspective. How many hours do you put in each week dancing?
Yeah, it kind of varies because in LA the setup is drop-in classes, and so it's not like a studio where it's a weekly class that you're kind of signed up for. But for me, I would say roughly maybe like 18 to 20 hours a week, I would say.
So let's talk a little bit about societal norms. And we've talked a little bit about it already, but how do you deal with societal norms or pressures to fit in or fit a certain stereotype?
I would say it's like I said before, it's really easy to, you know, let society decide who you're going to be and who you want to be, just because, you know, you want to fit in and you feel so much pressure to just look like everyone else. And I just think sometimes when people keep changing themselves to fit society's standards, it doesn't make sense to me. And I only realized this like 2 years ago. But what I realized is people keep doing all these things to keep changing to fit society's standards, but society standards are constantly changing. So if you just keep changing yourself and changing yourself again and changing yourself, you're not even going to know who like the real you is anymore. And you're just going to be a product of society's stereotypes. And you're not even going to be yourself anymore. And I definitely don't want to be like that. I'd rather, you know, I say this a lot, I'd rather have people hate me for the person I actually am than have someone love me and praise me for something that I'm not and something I'm putting on and doing to please other people.
Yeah. So. I'm so blown away by your wisdom at 18 years old. Like I can only wish that I had that at 18 years old. So I love it. So let's switch and talk about your mindset. Tell me about your mindset and how it has led to your badassery.
I think I'm just constantly, I don't know. I just always know that there's no one that can do what I can do. So there's no one else in the world that looks like me, that dances like me, that talks like me, that acts like me. You know, I'm completely my own person. And no matter how many people try to tear me down and take my confidence away and tell me all these negative things, I know that I'm the only me there is, and just, what am I trying to say? Like, no one can take that away from me. Like, no one can take who I am away from me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope I'm making sense. So I just always remember that, even though all these people, say all these negative things, like, they can't take away who I am.
Yeah, they can't take away the core of you.
They can't. Yeah.
Right. No, I love that. Do you have any tips or tricks to help us improve our mindset?
I would just say, like, give yourself more compliments, and, it's okay to, like, brag every once in a while, or, to give credit to yourself when it's due. Because I know sometimes for me, even, when people give me a compliment, or I don't know, if just people, like, praise me for a second, I'm very much the person that's like, oh my gosh, no, like, no, like, But, we shouldn't be like that. We should be like, yeah, I am. Thank you for noticing. Like, just have a more, like, mindset where it's like, yes, I am amazing. Thank you. And just kind of letting yourself have those moments where you're like, yeah, I am amazing. And just, that'll help a lot, instead of kind of putting it off like, oh yeah, okay.
That's so funny. I literally just posted about that on Instagram yesterday, because it's so easy to, like you said, just deflect the compliments and not take them in, So I think it's important to actually let it sink in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share one of your greatest mindset hacks for confidence and self-esteem?
I would just say, I know I literally just said this, but just remember that no one can do what you do. Just remember that. That really helps me a lot, because when I'm in dance class or I don't get a certain audition or job, I just have to remember that, that might not be for me, but they're still not who I am, and they can't do what I can do. So just remember that you're completely unique, and you're your own person, and there's something special to each person, and just don't forget that.
Love that. Do you have a mantra or meditation practice?
Honestly, I don't really have time for meditation, but I have a few, like, sayings I like to tell people. One of them is really easy, but if you love it, do it. It's as simple as that. I say that all the time. And I feel like people put so much thought into every decision they make. And yes, obviously, certain decisions are very important, and you should spend time thinking about the decision you're going to make. But also at the same time, don't take them too seriously. They're not life and death, no matter how serious it may be. And just, like, go with your gut and do what will make you happy at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's kind of some mindset things. Yeah, I don't know.
No, I love it. So let's talk about some tips for some things that you have learned. If you could share one tip that you wish every female knew about, what would it be?
I would say stop comparing yourself to other people, because I know that was one of my biggest, actually was and still is, one of my biggest problems is, it's really easy, even when you're walking down the street, to look at someone and subconsciously you start comparing everything. You're like, oh, I'm not as skinny as her. I'm not as pretty as her. Oh, her smile is so pretty. Like, you just kind of, not even because you want to, it just happens, because that's kind of how society has brainwashed us and has kind of trained us to do, in a way.
Right.
I would say try to not do that. As hard as it may be, it'll really help. Because there's no point in comparing yourself to other people, because everyone's living a different life. Everyone's been through different things and is on a different path than you. And so it's not fair to compare yourself to other people.
So how have you applied that in your life?
Yeah, well, for me, in dance class, it's really easy for me to watch someone dance or whatever, and for me to constantly be comparing the way I dance to them. So I'm like, oh, like, she did that part so much better than me, or like, oh, her timing on that part was so good, like, I messed it up or whatever. And it's really easy for me to do that. But like I said before, this is kind of a constant theme during this interview. But, she does it that way, and that's her individual way of doing it. But I can do it my way, and I can do it, my special way. Right. So I just try to remember that, that's amazing, and the way she's doing it is awesome. But my way is also valid and is also amazing. They're just different.
Yeah, and you're not taking away anything from her or yourself, because you're both amazing, just different dance styles. Mm-hmm. So how do you get inspired and stay motivated?
How do I get inspired? I get inspired all the time from the people that follow me. I don't like saying followers, because I feel like that's just like my followers. I don't know. It sounds so like, not cocky, but you know what I mean. But the people that support me, sometimes they'll DM me and tell me these stories. And, I had a 45-year-old woman that came to one of my dance classes, and she said, hey, just so you know, I wore my first two-piece swimsuit in like 30 years because I saw your picture and you look so great. And
Oh,
just
that's cool.
like that really just inspired me to keep going, because even though it's hard for me to think I'm like changing lives because that's so dramatic, like I really am to some people.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to think about. And that's definitely really inspiring and motivating for me, knowing that, what I do matters and everything I do could change someone's life potentially. So yeah, just the people that support me, honestly, inspire me.
Yeah, I love that. So let's talk a little bit about badass advice. What was your turning point for accomplishing your goals and becoming a badass?
I would say my turning point is when I just started not caring about what people think. Obviously sometimes people say stuff and I'm not going to act like it doesn't get to me, but there was just a point, after I moved to LA that I just started thinking, okay, these people are either going to love me or hate me. I can't really change their opinion on that. That's just how they feel about me, but that doesn't mean I have to care. They can feel that way and I don't need to say anything, but I don't have to let it affect me. And I just started really not caring what anybody had to say about what I do. It's my life, their life, separate, and I don't want to let someone else that doesn't really matter affect me.
Right. So how long ago did you move to LA?
About 5 years ago, but I would say like the turning point probably happened 4 to 3 years ago.
Okay. So you moved to LA from where?
Colorado.
Was that a big adjustment?
Definitely. Colorado is, a lot of it is very suburban, small town, like everyone knows each other. We all go to the same places and it's just very kind of like homey and everyone knows each other. And it's a very different just situation than LA, where there's thousands of people and everyone is so serious and cutthroat here and they only care about themselves. Not everyone. I'm making LA sound really bad. But just for the entertainment industry, at least, everyone is so cutthroat and they think their life depends on everything they do. So it's just a different energy and everyone is very, serious, hardworking, and it's a different energy here. People aren't quite as, I don't want to say as friendly because, like I said, I keep making LA sound really bad. But, people don't take as much time get to know people or like make friendships with people. They're kind of so in their head because, being in the entertainment industry is hard because every audition you make is literally like, oh, I have to pay my rent. Like I need to get this audition, or, I have to get food. I need this job really bad. So it's kind of just a different mindset because in Colorado, there's not really any, I don't want to say any entertainment industry because obviously there's dancers, there's singers, obviously in Colorado, but there's not really like jobs for dancers and singers. So people aren't as competitive or cutthroat and things like that. It's more just fun. They're like, oh, dance, fun. Where here it's like, dance, like I need to be amazing.
Right.
But they're different. It's hard to compare them because they're literally like opposite sides of the spectrum. But both are great in their own way and both have their, negatives.
So was that an adjustment for you moving from one state to another?
Yeah, definitely. LA is so fast paced and you kind of just have to be constantly like doing something. And I'm also just not used to like city life because I'm from one of the smallest towns in Colorado.
Oh,
so
wow.
moving to LA is like, whoa. And it was just kind of a lot to take in at one time. But after like a month or two, I got adjusted and now, it's my home. So I've definitely gotten used to it, but it took a second.
So what led the move? Did your mom move for your career or what was the reason for that?
Yeah, so I brought it up first, I believe, and she was pretty on board with it. And we tried to move it one time, but then I chickened out because I was too scared. And I was like, I don't want to leave my friends. I'm too scared. And then I think like 6 months later, we ended up moving. And I wish I would have gone earlier. But we ended up moving, and yeah, my mom was completely on board with it. Yeah, she picked up everything, and we moved to LA for my career, and
That's so
I haven't
cool.
looked back since then.
I love that. So, can you share one thing that you have learned from a woman in your life?
It is really hard for me. I'm trying to think of like the best advice I've got. And there's a lot, so I'm going through it all in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know who I got this from, but I'm sure I've gotten it from like 10 different women in my life. But just to relax more and have more fun, because, you know, sometimes I take dance and my career too seriously. And yes, obviously my career is a serious thing, and I take it seriously because I'm passionate about it, and it's my job, obviously. So I care a lot about everything I do. But sometimes, you know, I take things too seriously, and I forget that, you know, I'm 18 years old. I can have fun. I can relax a little bit and not be so stressed and serious all the time.
So, if you're dancing and working hard and get stressed out, what do you do to kind of lighten it up or to have more fun?
I would say I take a break. It's really hard for me to, you know, take a break from dancing because I want to dance every day. But I do have to realize that, you know, when I'm feeling like it's too much or I just need to relax, I take a day off and maybe I'll go see some of my friends, or I'll go to the beach or do something that has nothing to do with dance so I can get my mind off of that and not just constantly be thinking about dance, because my life does revolve around dance. So sometimes it's really beneficial to kind of get that all out of my head and just have fun for a day, not involving dance. And it's really beneficial.
Yeah, it's amazing what some space can do. Just get a little bit of space from it and then start back over the next day. So, do you have a habit or a practice that has contributed to your success?
Ooh, I would say this isn't really a habit, but I think one thing that has really helped as far as how successful I've been so far is my performance. Like, my performance quality is something where, you know I haven't, or I'm aware that I am aware that I don't, there we go, have the best, you know, technique, or I'm not the best, you know, dancer in LA. I know that. But something that is really strong that not everyone or not a lot of people has is my performance quality. And there's just something when I perform, you know, and the energy I put behind it that is contagious, and it makes people feel some type of way, and it makes them feel happy or just inspired or energized. And that's something that not a lot of dancers think about. I feel like they're so worried about the steps and, you know, being perfect, when, you know, the audience doesn't really care about the steps. They don't know when you mess up. They don't know how hard that step is. You know, they're not sitting there thinking about that.
Right.
All they remember is the way that you performed and the way that you made them feel.
Yeah.
And so I feel like performance, if anything, is more important than the actual dance. Obviously, yes, I want to be a decent dancer, but performing is also a huge part of it. And I think that's the reason why I have gotten a lot of the jobs I have, is because not many people can perform like me.
Yeah, that's so great. And then, I mean, I'm sure your passion, from what I've seen, the videos I've seen, like your passion just shines through. And that makes, like, I can't dance, but it makes me want to dance.
Yeah.
What do you wish everyone knew about confidence and overcoming obstacles?
I wish that people knew. I feel like sometimes people think that, you know, looking on Instagram and seeing all these people and how confident they are, it's really easy to think that, like, oh my gosh, like, they're perfect, like, they're so confident. I wish I was that confident. And even though I am a very confident person, I just wish more people realize that just because the people you look up to are confident does not mean like they're perfect in any way. I still have down days all the time. You know, I have days when I'm not feeling my best or the greatest, and I'm feeling a little insecure. And I just wish people knew that that was okay. Just because you have some down days doesn't mean, you know, you're completely insecure or you have no confidence or anything like that. It's okay to go up and down with your confidence. It's never going to be like constantly going up. I've never met someone where that's the case.
Right.
And I just wish they would know that, you know, the people you look up to aren't perfect. And I know that when I was growing up, I'd look at the dancers like, oh, like, they're so perfect. Their life is amazing. Like, I wish I was like that. But they're going through stuff too. They have their down days and their off days just like you. So yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I think confidence, kind of like you were explaining, it can be a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
But then like if I don't focus on it or make it something that I actively work on, then it will just go down.
Mm-hmm. I just wish that people, having a lot of confidence doesn't mean it has to be at 100 all the time.
Right.
You can be a really confident person while you're, on your down days. It just means, you're just not having the best day. And that's fine.
Yeah. And you're human.
Yes, exactly.
So how often do you read, and can you recommend a book?
Ooh, okay. Gotta be honest, I don't read as much as I should, but my favorite book is, I don't know if it's technically like a novel or a book or anything, but the Milk and Honey book is my favorite, thing I've ever read. It's pretty much just pages of these different kind of poems almost, and each of them have to do with either self-love or just being insecure or having bad days, and then finding your confidence and not letting, for example, a significant other tear your confidence down or let them decide how confident you are that day. It's a really good book for kind of just self-reflection, I guess is the word, and I really recommend it. It's a good book.
So I feel like I gotta ask, since you're a dancer, is there a song that inspires you?
Oh my
or that
God.
you just want to dance to?
On the radio. Literally, if you're a dancer, you'll know every song that comes on, ever. Or at least for me, I immediately think of oh, what would this dance look like? Or what would this choreography be like? Or what is the vibe of this song? Pretty much every song, I immediately think about what kind of dance would that be? Just because, like I said, my whole life literally revolves around dance. So everything I do, I'm thinking about dance a little bit in some sort of way.
Yeah.
But I love all music. I think all music is amazing, and you can definitely dance to pretty much any song. So. Yeah,
I love that. That's great. So let's end with a tip to empower women, and if you'll share how the audience can connect with you.
Yeah. So for connecting with me, you can follow my Instagram, which is Amanda LeCount. And I also have a website where if you literally want to know anything about me, you can find it on there. It's amandaleCount.com, as well as merch and fun stuff like that. And then I have 2 YouTube channels. I have a dance one that is Amanda LeCount Dance, and I have a more silly one that's Amanda LeCount.
Awesome. And then do you have a tip to empower women?
I would just say, this is really an easy one that I'm sure a lot of people say, but just do what you want. I feel like a lot of people, like I said kind of before, people take their decisions too seriously, and life is not that serious. If you want to dye your hair pink, dye your hair pink. If you want to shave your head, shave your head. If you want to be a dancer and you're 70 years old, be a dancer. Just do what will make you happy, because it'll make your life 100 times better.
So great. Amanda, thank you so much for being on the show. You've been a total badass. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Yeah.
Me too.
So with that, we'll end our show. And to all the badass women out there, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, own it and get after it. Hey friend, before you go, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really enjoyed talking to Amanda, and I would love to hear your thoughts. Hit me up on Instagram @ordinary2badass and let me know what you thought, or head on over to iTunes and leave a review. I would be so grateful. Also, don't forget about our Ordinary to Badass Facebook group. It's a community of like-minded women who are pursuing their badassery. And as always, I would love for you to check us out at www.ordinarytobadass.com. And that way you can subscribe to the blog post and check out our weekly newsletter. Talk to you soon, friend.
Now that you've listened to this episode of Ordinary to Badass, we want to hear from you. Go to our website, ordinarytobadass.com/podcast, and submit your own experience on how you took your life from ordinary to badass, and get the chance to be on a future Spotlight episode of the show. That's ordinarytobadass.com/podcast. While you're waiting for the next episode of the show, wipe off the sweat, dust off the dirt, and get back in the arena.